Hector Bravo, unhinged. Chaos is now in session.
Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing again as we continue into season number 2. Another special guest by the name of Jimmy, a white dude from Orange County. I put the emphasis on white dude because we're going to get into it. He spent 17 years of his life in a California state prison, and he's here to tell a story. What up, Jimmy?
How you doing?
Good. You?
Good.
You can relax, man. It's chill conversation.
It's all good.
So, Orange County. Since birth?
No. I'm originally from Texas.
No.
Oh yeah, Texan too.
What part?
Well, I was born in Corpus Christi, but my family's from Abilene, Sweetwater.
Okay.
My fourth grade uncle was G.B. Jameson. Fought and died at the Alamo.
Really?
Got a third great grandfather that was born in Gonzales, Texas, in 1846. Moved up to Montague County, which was on the border of Oklahoma. That wasn't called Oklahoma back then. That was Indian territory. So he ended up moving out to Cross Plains, which is out by Abilene, running a stagecoach.
How important is your family lineage to you?
Pretty important. I think it's important to understand who your ancestors are, so you have a better understanding of who you are.
Damn, dude, I like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, one of my ancestors is Lincoln. I thought that was like a family, one of those family stories that, like,
yeah,
no, we're related to Lincoln.
Now, did you do your own research, or was this like in the family? Hey, you should probably know that your uncles and your grandfather were this person.
In the family, I knew about Lincoln. That was one of the stories, family stories.
Kind of got his jawline now that you mention it.
Yeah. My great-grandmother used to tell me all the time, the only time we go down to the root cellars for tornadoes and engines. And I thought she was joking. I thought there's no way,
Yeah. Engines?
Engines.
In 2025, is that a derogatory term? I mean, I don't know, nor do I care. Not that I want to be disrespectful. I'm just not a politically correct podcast.
Is it?
I don't know. We'll have to do a Google search.
Wait a week.
So, how long did you live in Texas before you commuted? Or
so I've lived everywhere. I've lived in Maine, North Dakota, Idaho, Alaska, back to Maine, Massachusetts, California, England, back to California. I grew up as an Army brat, basically. My dad worked for the government.
He was a federal worker?
Mm-hmm.
He was not in the military himself?
No.
So everywhere he went, you went. Damn, dude, did that affect the way you socialized with meeting people and then not meeting people?
Right. Yeah, I've got a whole thing to where I know how to meet people. I just after 3 years,
right?
I don't know what that kind of entails.
How tall are you, dude?
6'4".
Yeah, you're tall as fuck, man. You're a big guy. I just wanted the crowd to know he's a big motherfucker. No disrespect.
Yeah.
So you're traveling around all over. I'm assuming your dad has a good grasp on you as far as discipline.
Okay.
Does he?
Sure.
I'm asking.
The thing was, I was scared of my dad. Yeah. And I didn't want to do things to annoy him, piss him off, whatever the case was. Still did. Still did all the time.
What age frame are we talking?
I mean, if we're going to get real deep about it, I mean, at the age of 5, I decided, like, oh, I'm a bad kid. I'm going to be a bad kid. But, that gets into other, like, mental health issues, autism, ADHD type stuff, and being kind of typecast as the bad kid when you're kind of having issues getting along like a normal kid would.
This has all transpired up to and prior to the age of 5? You've discovered this?
Yeah.
Now, is this looking back in hindsight, or is this you realizing at the age of 5, hey, man, I want to be bad?
I didn't understand at the age of 5. I just knew that basically, I'd been put into a box of, like, you are the bad kid. You do bad shit. You do dumb shit. Like, what is wrong with you? And then at the age of 5, you just kind of like accept like, oh, this is me, right? So then for the rest of my time, you know, I'm just messing around.
We're almost the same age, about approximately 10 years apart.
Right.
So we can fast forward back to the 80s. What would you consider bad shit in the 80s?
You know, just, you know, stupid stuff, you know, smoking before school, stealing money.
Breaking windows?
No,
No?
not necessarily. Not, not,
At least
not
you weren't
anything like
vandalizing
that.
shit.
You know, and yeah, bad's relative, right? Like I wasn't doing too much in the way, but I, you know, I was creating issues for my family. I was a behavioral problem. School, by the time I was in 4th grade, school started going downhill.
Important question. Was it because you were not applying yourself? Meaning like, hey, you knew the material, you just didn't care to do it?
I mean, that was the thing the entire time. Was it wasn't a matter of me not understanding what was being taught.
Correct.
It was a matter of me wanting to do it.
Because I just met you about 5 minutes ago, and you seem like an intelligent guy, man.
Right.
I'm sure it didn't happen overnight. I'm
Right.
sure it's been a work in progress.
Yeah.
And you just explained your family lineage.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, that's the thing is, you know, and that's when it comes down to looking at yourself and understanding. I'm 50 years old, turning 50 in a couple weeks, and I'm just now finding out about, you know, autism, ADHD, and kind of the roles that these things have played in my life up to this point. Now, it makes a lot of sense. You know, when you go back and you look at your life and there's things that haven't made sense the entire time. And then, you know, at the age of 50, finding out like, oh no, this might be why. There's a lot of transition. It's a mind fuck.
The beautiful thing about it, man, is there's no expiration date to learning about yourself or consuming new knowledge.
Exactly.
And education. And I believe podcasts in 2025 is definitely helping the regular people of society understand things that are real.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, this is, you know, for the most part, unfiltered, real.
Absolutely.
You know, and put out there as is.
Correct.
Right. It's not a play. Not trying to direct the people
Correct.
in any certain way. Just put out the information.
You know what the kicker is, though? The kicker is that a lot of people can relate and do have similar experiences.
Right.
So it's all about helping people.
Exactly.
So here you are, man. I wouldn't call you a delinquent because now we understand why you were behaving the way you were behaving.
Mm-hmm.
When did you end up in California?
7th grade. So I was probably 12, 13. And
Puberty.
yeah, you know, and that's why for the most part I feel like, you know, I kind of, when I talk to people, I grew up in Orange County. I grew up in Southern California because those years I spent here for the most part.
You've been around the United States.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree that California moves different?
Oh yeah, and even, you know, I've been out to Tennessee and Oklahoma and dealt with the staff there watching us.
Oh shit, you were part of the out of state?
Mm-hmm.
What was it, level 3 at the time?
Yeah.
Oh shit, didn't even know you were out of state. When we're gonna get to that. So you went out of state as the out of state transfers, and you were able to observe that the staff there.
Oh, dude, I've never seen so much staff walked off.
I would say the lack of pay may have contributed to that.
Of course. You know, when you get there and you've got someone, you know, telling one of the guys like, hey, if I give you $100, you bring me a can of Bugler. He's like, shit, for $100, I'll bring you like 5 cans.
Fuck, dude, they're fucking outselling themselves.
Yeah.
Downselling themselves.
And that whole place, you know, smelled like a bong.
Wow.
Every time you pick up the phone, it's like, man.
We'll get there. So here you are, man, who were your friends when shit started to go south? And I see your tattoos. I don't need to know your background to know what you were getting into.
Mm-hmm.
When did that start?
You know, on a very base level, it started when I first moved to California. You know, as you said, things move differently in California. So, you know, coming from the background that I was coming from in Massachusetts, and then coming out here, very different, very different. In Massachusetts, I lived in a really rich neighborhood, Hyannis, which is on Cape Cod.
Nice.
The Kennedys.
Damn.
Right. So I was not rich. You know, I was poor. And I also played basketball. So needless to say, you know, I remember one time my parents asked me, like, we don't have a problem with it, but why are all your friends black? And I remember telling them, like, it's just who I'm hanging out with. We all play basketball together. We all, you know, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, no, we're good. We're just curious. And I told them, I said, you know, none of the white kids like me or, you know, hang out with me because I'm poor. The blacks, they didn't care, right? So then I moved to California, and within the first week, I'm already in a fight with a black dude.
How? Why? What?
Just didn't like me. A new kid, you know? So every time I show up somewhere, I have to fight someone. And then, you know, you get oh, it's a new person, blah, blah, blah. So you got the people that want to fight you and the people that want to love you.
Okay.
You know? But, you know, right off the bat, we end up in the principal's office. He's saying that I'm calling him stuff. Which ain't true, you know? But, you know, coming from a place to where it was very, like, you're accepted. It is what it is. We're all different people. We're all doing what we do. To California, where things are very black and white.
So you mean
pun intended.
Pun intended. So you mean to tell me at that time frame, at that age, even the two different locations, California was already kind of segregated?
Oh, yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
And I'm not just playing dumb. I really had no idea it was like that or different in other places at that time.
Well, you know, and plus the part of Orange County I'm from is
Orange County too.
right on the border of LA County.
Yeah.
I'm right there by Long Beach.
Okay.
So, you know, there is tensions.
This is going to be a very interesting episode, bro. And I got to like fucking maneuver from the start to the finish, man. At what point was the ideology introduced to you? There had to have been some type of ideology introduced to you.
You know, roughly around the time I was 14. You know, there were older dudes in the neighborhood.
Like old men or just
No,
a couple years old?
like, you know, older homeboys that, you know, my friend's older brother.
Felons? Or
Yeah.
not? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, and, you know, you find out later on in life when you're looking back at stuff and so on and so forth, you know, my friend's brother, he was doing the lifer plan, but like in installments, you know?
I hear you.
He was addicted to heroin.
Heroin isn't even a white guy drug.
Nah. And, well, I mean, you know, and it's funny because there's family stuff involved there. My mom used to take morphine a lot. She had a bad back. And it was funny because I had never really dealt with people who did heroin until I went to prison. And then, you know, you see all the dudes,
Right.
you know.
Yeah.
It's like, man. But that was my mom.
Damn.
Yeah, it fucked me up. But yeah, you know, these older dudes, you know, it was kind of in the neighborhood, and like I said, we're on the border of LA County, so there's already tensions and
When you've mentioned on the border of LA County, can you like emphasize on that? Like, what does that mean? Is it the fact that you're just from two different geographical locations that there's tension? Or was it the people on the other side that you guys were tripping on, or you guys vice versa?
oh, both. You know, part of it was, the whole idea of cleaning up your neighborhood. And you ain't coming to our neighborhood to do this stuff because we are on the border. You've got people coming over the border, hitting, home invasions, gas stations, just on the street, and so you ain't going to do that in my neighborhood.
Thank you for emphasizing that, bro. Like, I had no idea, and that makes sense, dude. You guys were like vigilantes to a degree.
Right. And that, and that was like the whole point. I mean, at one point we had, the local police force kind of on board. They were like,
who the
hey,
fuck is that? Anaheim PD, Orange County? Who the fuck?
Hey, they're like, hey, listen, like, y'all got rid of them.
Oh, shit.
Good.
Was this a racial thing?
Yeah. Well,
Meaning opposite races, different races.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we'd have, one time we had a gang from Long Beach come over and try to, start doing stuff in the neighborhood. And they had moved in and lived in the neighborhood. And so one time, I'm standing out in the street and get accosted by a couple of them. They've got their hands in their pockets, like they're about something. And so about 30 of my friends come out, and we chase them down the street. And the cops show up. They got run out,
How many of these skirmishes occurred, would you say, approximately? If it wasn't you actively present, were you aware of your homeboys that were like, hey, we fucking ran these dudes out over here?
There weren't situations like that all the time. It just was, a situation where, like, we're not getting along with whomever or don't want whomever walking around. So, we get into this whole aspect, and I want to touch on the fact that, I really believe that we were being used
by
the powers that be, right? Like, you end up with different groups that get pushed to the forefront of everyone's mind, right? And you get riled up, and this becomes a news story. This becomes changing the public's opinion, a societal shift in people's opinion. When you do that, you can push different things. So if you get everyone pumped up about all these, crazy white kids on the street, well, then you can kind of push in other stuff, programs, policies, whatever the case may be, that people are going to be like, oh, yeah, bring that in. But that's because of how they're feeling right now. But when it kind of, everything comes out in the wash, everyone's realizing, like, oh, shit, maybe we shouldn't.
We shouldn't have invaded Iraq after all.
Dude.
That's what you just said is exactly the same thing as government. Yeah. The vicious cycle.
And I watched the whole thing. 9/11.
Not only did you watch the whole thing, in this cycle, you were a part of it. You were a pawn.
Exactly.
And I had that experience of as well being a pawn.
Yeah.
Hey, Warriors, if you haven't already signed up for our all-new website, HectorBravoShow.com, make sure you sign up at the link below, HectorBravoShow.com, to watch explicit, uncensored, never-before-seen prison footage. With that, love you. Keep pushing forward. What would you say at this moment to the American people that are not aware of that cycle or refuse to believe that vicious government cycle?
It's around us all the time. I mean, it's happening right now.
Remember back in the day, they used to call people like this conspiracy theorists?
But, and it's so funny because, a lot of people, they don't want to. They don't want to know.
What do they call it? Ignorance is bliss?
And it's just stuck their head in the sand.
Correct.
And everything's cool and we're good and it's golden. And you got the dumpster fire behind them.
Right.
It's like.
Right. So here you are, man, doing the Lord's work as a white kid in Orange County, man, running out the delinquents. But you guys were a part of the
We were
problem.
delinquents.
You were the same, doing the government's work, man, fighting at each other's throats.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When did you? Cause bro, you strike me as an all in or nothing type of guy, dude.
Right.
Not like a half-asser.
Right.
When did you make that fucking commitment? I'm in.
So when I was 16, I'd been kicked out of my high school. I had dropped out of continuation school. I'd moved out of my parents' house. I was living with a girlfriend in town over and doing dumb shit for money. My dad showed up one day and said, "Hey, the family's moving to England." I said, "Cool." "You know where I'm at? Send me a postcard."
Yeah.
He goes, "No." I said, "The family's going to England. Get your shit. You're coming." So at the age of 16, I moved to England and had to fight every day
In England?
because I was American.
Who were you fighting? Hooligans?
Yeah, the English. They did not like us. We were not welcome. We, and this kind of like really kind of solidified any kind of patriotism, that I had
Right.
or have. It's just being over there and dealing with, everyone. And it's a societal change. Everything. Over there they deal with the class system, right? Which we don't deal with. We don't even think about.
Right.
Now, the way I was raised, I'm walking down the street, see a little old lady pulling her, groceries down the road. I'm gonna make eye contact. I'm gonna smile, say good morning, how you doing, keep pushing.
Absolutely.
You do that in England, and they look at you like you tried to grab them.
Why?
They're not used to it. They don't like that. It's too in your face. It's too, but being over there, seeing their scene over there, because that's where the whole scene started.
Absolutely.
So, I get over there, my first day of school, I got to take a train out to this English town. And when I step off the train, I look over and there's this pub called the Flint Cottage.
Okay.
And nothing but dudes that look like me standing out front. So before I go to school, I'm going to go have a pint.
Okay.
So I walk in and, everyone's kind of staring at me. I got the same jacket on. I got the same boots, got the same shaved head, like.
Looking like Derek Vineyard.
Dude.
And we'll get to that.
And then as soon as I said, "Hey, do you guys got Budweiser?" It was like, the proverbial record scratch. Everyone stopped and looked at me, and they're like, "You're a Yank, aren't you?" And I was like, "Yeah." And so they just made it very apparent, like, you ain't welcome here. Damn. Drink a beer and kick rocks. So.
You think it might have been the choice in beer? Budweiser,
my voice, everything, just the simple fact of like, they knew everyone in the neighborhood and I wasn't one of them. Right. So who was I? And then all of a sudden I'm like, "Hey, you got some Budweiser?"
Yeah.
But
it's a good story, bro.
Yeah.
Like, that's hilarious. What are the chances,
Exactly. Well, it was a learning lesson, though.
So then you drank and then you bounced.
Drank and bounced. Went to school, showing up, smelling like beer.
How long were you in England for?
2 years. From the time I was 16 till I was 18.
So, damn, dude. Damn. So were you, on your off time, what were you doing? Who were you hanging out with? Were you attempting to get back into that scene or stay in the scene?
No. By the, and I grew up as a skater too.
You did?
Yeah. So I was like, a little skater.
Just doing your thing.
Just doing my thing. As far as over there in England, I didn't hang out too much. I didn't do anything.
When did you start getting your ink, dude?
England.
England is when you started to get your ink.
Yeah.
How did that play out?
So in England, and I didn't understand about this in the beginning, but over in England, it's just normal for people to have ink.
Okay.
It's not so much of this crazy like, oh, you're a sailor or a convict or what. No, it's just normal people have ink over there. So I started getting ink over there, not understanding the part about the Picts and understanding that when the Romans showed up to Britain, everyone was tattooed. And that's why they called them Picts. So it's just a very normal ancestral thing.
Okay.
Tattoos in the British Isles.
I didn't know that.
So me getting tattoos isn't outside the norm. And over there, everyone had them, like I said. So I started over there, and I remember the first tattoo I got. The guy had the English roses on his earlobes. He had his face done. He was completely covered in ink. And I'm just getting this one on my calf. And I'm thinking to myself, like, how could someone do, why would someone do this to themselves?
Yeah.
But here I am, 30 years later, looking just like them,
But it's a progress. It's a progression.
Mm-hmm. And, I remember when I first got busted, and I got my throat done. Now I showed up to prison with a bunch of ink.
You did.
Oh yeah. So, when I got my throat done, my dad was like, "What the fuck are you doing, dude? Like you're gonna get out someday. You're gonna da 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 da." So then, fast forward 17 years, I'm about to get out. I'm already starting to think about from the neck up, and then down, getting my ink taken off.
Yeah.
And my dad was like, "Nah, you guys, you should see some of the people out here now.
Facts.
You look normal."
Facts.
Yeah. So
Before we jump way ahead, you mentioned to me in the elevator that you actually came out in the movie American History X.
and I wasn't on film,
But that whole scene,
but that whole scene, yeah.
was that like the punk rock scene? Like the band playing?
Punk rock, skinhead.
Skinhead. Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us again, or the crowd, like how that played out, where you were at, how you played part of a band?
So we had a band back in the day,
Yeah.
and just coming up with music, doing our thing. We couldn't find a drummer or a bassist. So the singer of our band, he was more social. He knew more people. He actually was talking to someone that had a band already established. They were already in the scene, well known and everything. And they said, "Hey, why don't you come out and play with us? Bring your stuff, and we'll just set up and see what we can make of it." So the first time we did it, they have two bands made out of one band, right? So one band will get up and they'll play their set, and then the singer and the bassist will switch, and they'll do like punk rock and like play similar music. So they do that. We get up, we start playing our stuff. It sounds the best it's ever sounded. It was amazing. It was fun. We had a blast. We kept doing that. Over the next few months, we had done it a few times, and we got a call from the singer guy, and he said, "Hey, we're going to do a documentary for BBC, and we want you to play because we're all going to get paid for it." It's like, no.
Right.
Because this is a time when Geraldo was getting beat up, Jerry Springer was a thing. We're not doing TV anything, okay? We're not. So he explained to us, "Hey, listen, we're going to get paid for playing, and then we're going to get paid for you playing. So we'll see you there." And so, whatever. So, we showed up, and, everything was the same. It was the same spot, the same everything.
The barn scene?
No. So we're in a studio. We're in a studio where this band keeps all their stuff and then practices. Well, we come into the studio and there's three people, an older dude, a younger guy, and a chick. And I don't watch TV. I don't watch movies. So I didn't understand But this chick is famous. She's an actress. She plays the girlfriend in the movie. I think her name's Fairuza Balk or something. And so they all see her. They all know her. So everyone's acting like little kids.
Yeah.
So the guy with the camera disappears, comes back 20 minutes later with a dolly of beer.
Okay.
Sets it in the middle, and then everyone starts drinking. And within 20 minutes, you know, I've got someone on my shoulders going through the pit. And,
Okay.
you know, everyone's having fun. Well, it got to our point to play. So we get up there, we set up, and we're playing. As we're playing, our singer has the bust of Adolf Hitler tattooed on his stomach. Well, the camera guy keeps getting super close to our singer. And our singer, you know, he's singing, he's in the mood, he's doing it, he's, you know, right? So when this guy comes too close, Kevin grabs his knife and stabs the camera.
Okay.
They freak out. They, you know, they take off. They're scared.
They took off?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. They're like, oh, no, they packed everything up and just gone. These, you know, so whatever. They left. We threw beer bottles at them. Fun times were had. But then, you know, months go by. Well, a couple weeks go by. I get a check.
You got a check? You got paid?
I got paid for this.
Okay.
So I'm tripping.
I'm tripping.
And I'm like, you know, I don't know. So I hold on to the check for a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And then I go cash it. And the day I cash it, I get a phone call saying, hey, would you like to come speak on camera and tell us, you know, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, fuck you. I don't know who you think this is. Don't ever call this number again. I don't know you.
Right.
Right? Like, So anyways, that was that, right? And then, you know, years go by. And we're kind of like, I wonder whatever happened with that documentary.
Yeah.
Well, American History X comes out. And everyone's like, oh, you got to see it. I don't want to see it. You know, that was my life. Like, I don't. So, no, they were like, nah, your neighborhood, Kevin's in it. Like
Kevin is the one with the Hitler tattoo on his stomach?
On his stomach.
In the film, did they show that? Did they show Kevin?
Yeah.
Wow, dude. Because I know which one you're talking about now.
So, yeah. So when the brother goes to the party.
Yep.
They're showing the pit. They're showing lots of action shots.
Yep.
One of those action shots is Kevin. And you can see from the neck down, he's singing. He's got the tattoo and everything. Now, yeah.
Okay. I was a CO at Centinela State Prison.
Mm-hmm.
I used to observe tattoos to kind of try to figure out what they meant or what they belonged to. Does that one have a particular, like, reference or meaning?
Yeah. Just basically, fuck you.
To?
Anyone. Say something.
Right.
Right? Like, that was the whole point.
Right.
Of getting those tattoos. Like, bam, here I am. What's up?
Fuck.
So, yeah.
Since we're on the topic of tattoos, and before we move forward, what about the SS bolts?
What about them?
Would you say there's a particular thing you have to do to have them filled in prison?
So, you know, and that's the whole thing is like the SS bolts for me. That's a touchy subject because I'm spiritual.
Yes.
And so those are runes.
Okay.
That Hitler used. These are spiritual signals, signs that have gone back thousands of years. So, yeah. I hate the whole idea that, you know, these symbols have been corrupted by, you know, people thinking that Hitler used them and so on and so forth. So now they are only assigned that meaning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, As far as all that, what you get and earned, and I don't.
We're good on that?
I don't give a fuck about any of that.
You don't?
Never did.
You didn't?
No.
You believed in something.
Well, no, I mean,
you believed in something all the way.
So that there is a separation between prison groups and groups on the street. So, there's a lot of times where in prison I'd run into people and talk to them, and they'd say, "Oh, you're a real one."
Yes.
It's like, yeah.
Yes.
I'm not here looking for protection. I'm not here trying to be a part of, blah, 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 whatever. No, this is what I did on the street. This is what I'm about.
That's a fresh breath air. Why? I don't know. I like real ones, man. And that's knowledge to me because I'll be honest with you, bro. I don't have the fucking experience or the understanding of how that worked. Mm-hmm. You ask me, not to sound ignorant, I thought they was all the same shit.
Right.
But you're...
there's different groups, there's different people, and it comes down to, the person you are, the type of person you are. I remember Ironwood. I was on A yard and had a buddy of mine that was on D yard.
Okay.
Trying to get me into the college program. So after a while, one night I get called down to the podium. And the cop looks at me, CO, and it's like, "You in college?" So I looked at him, I go, "Trying to be." And he goes, and I hadn't even heard from my friend, so like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And he's like, "All right, go pack your stuff. You're heading to D yard." I'm like, fuck yeah. And finally get to start college, start going down that path. When I got over there, my buddy was like, "What are you doing, dude?" I go, "What do you mean?" He goes, "I've been trying to get you over here for like a year." He goes, "Those cops wouldn't let you go." "What do you mean?" He goes, "They said you had everyone over there on like behaving."
Yeah.
And yeah, but that's not because of any like prison anything.
Correct.
I was stuck in a vocation. That was a go nowhere vocation. It was a print shop.
Let me ask you this, though. I'm assuming in this story you just told you were not in a position of authority?
No.
Let me ask you this. Was there another individual in a position of authority?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and I kind of gathered that.
Yeah. That ain't me. First termer.
Right.
So
first termer.
I'm a first termer.
Correct.
So
It was one term.
Right. So I'm in a vocation that's a go nowhere vocation. It's the print shop. Okay. It's none of the printers work. So all of us have done all the book work, but until the printers get fixed, we can't pass the class. We're just stuck.
Mm-hmm.
So it's me and a few other dudes. We start making paper airplanes because we're there with reams of paper.
Right.
So then we ended up in like this little like prison MIT aerodynamics kind of thing to where we had the big fans, we had staples, we pulled out the, from our boxers, and we would tie the planes up to the fans, and we would, tweak the wings to, see how they would fly better. Well, then we'd all hit the yard at night, and there'd be like 7 or 8 skinheads running around on the yard throwing paper airplanes. I mean, think about that.
Yeah.
I don't know how we weren't piss tested, right? But we're just all out there throwing paper airplanes, watching them land, go pick them up, throw them again.
I've never seen inmates throw paper airplanes. What was the reaction of the other races and or COs? Just watching? Entertainment?
Huh.
Yeah, that's what I would imagine.
Well, and that's why they wouldn't let me go.
Yeah.
I've got everyone on the yard playing with paper airplanes.
Yeah.
Instead of stabbing everyone.
That's way fucking better, bro. That's way better. Talk to me about your commitment, your crime of commitment.
Voluntary manslaughter.
In the year?
2000.
Was this as a result of everything you were caught up in?
This was kind of like, no, it was an accident. it borders on what I was caught up in, you know, but it was also one of those things to where I'm moving from LA County back down to Orange County. And, you know, there's a group of individuals in this neighborhood that I had stayed away from for months. But just because we lived so close to one another, we ended up getting in contact, talking, me trying to explain to them from like an older person's perspective, like, hey, this road you're going down, not the one. There's different things to do, blah, blah, blah. So I had built a relationship with these guys. So I'm leaving, right? I'm heading back down to Orange County. Well, I'm going to go say goodbye to these guys.
Yeah.
So I go say goodbye. There's a party. There's no more beer left. So I'm like, hey, I'm going to run up to the Albertsons real quick, grab some beer. I'll be right back. They're like, hey, can we come with? Let's go. On the way to the store, run into two dudes. One of them I know from work. The other one I didn't know. Words were said. Fight started. And one of those dudes didn't survive. The other one did. And that was that.
Was there weapons involved?
No.
Was there enhancements added to your sentence?
So they came at me after a year in LA County Jail. They came at me with 20 years. I was looking at 25 to life. You know, back then, that L, it didn't matter what number was before the L. If
Correct.
you had the L, you're screwed.
So that 20 they offered you, was it with an L?
No.
Okay.
No, that was with a date. So I was like, all right. So I went back to my cell, and there was a Christian essay that me and him were like friends. And I respected his get down. You know, he was an intelligent person. And I came back to him and laid everything out and said, look, this is what they're giving me. Because he had even told me, he goes, listen, if they ever come at you with a deal, he goes, there's 100 motherfuckers on the yard that are on the yard right now doing life that were given a deal that never took the deal.
Fuck.
That wish they freaking had.
Wow.
So I'm like, okay. So I go to court, and this is all while 9/11's happening, right? That screwed me. So I go to court. They give me 20 years. I explain it to this guy, and he says, get the gang enhancement dropped. Get the gang enhancement dropped because that's going to affect where they send you. I was like, all right. So the next time I went to court, I told him, I'll take your 20 years, but drop the gang enhancement. So they figured some stuff out, pencil whipping everything.
Good old American judicial system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how the fuck you're going to take off the enhancement but still keep the 20 years, but they just
So that's what happened is I ended up with voluntary manslaughter, assault with a deadly weapon, use of a weapon during a felony, hate crime.
Being white, another 5 years.
Well, hate crime.
Right.
Both victims are white.
Both victims were white?
Yeah.
Unfucking believable. I mean, they had to do what they had to do to drop the enhancement.
Right. And I mean, that's what it comes down to. They ended up giving me 19 years.
It kind of sounds ridiculous. They dropped the gang enhancement, but they add a hate crime.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of sounds typical.
You know, it's one of those things.
Right.
And the thing is, they pencil whip everything, and they're like, all we can come up with is 19 years. And I'm like, perfect. Even better.
Well, did you steal anything in the process, motherfucker? Did you shoplift? We'll give you that one more year, making it even 20.
So I told them, I said, look, that's perfect. That's fine. And they go, no, you're not walking out of this courtroom without 20 years.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So they were like, well, listen, you've been in the county for a year. Give that time up.
Fuck.
And we'll give you the 19 years. Fuck,
Bro, from your experience, where is this shit coming from within them? Like ego, like a judicial standpoint.
No,
Like this
it's
young
not
kid's not
even
gonna.
that though. It's they have a program. They have a program. They need this person is going to prison or jail. We don't know how. but this is what the program is, okay? I need to get you inside
For
into
20 years.
for 20 years into a concrete box so your space can make us money.
I hear you, dude. I hear you.
You know?
Absolutely, dude. This is fucking wild.
Oh yeah, dude. It's and it's that sense of duty. It's that sense of, I'm a DA. I've got to, blah,
Right.
blah, blah. I'm going to fix the system. I'm going to clean up the streets. But here's the thing is you're going to lunch with my public pretender and figuring out who you're going to let go and
Absolutely.
who you're going to keep and all this. Like, and people don't understand that.
Was it 1 strike or 2 strikes that they give you?
2,
What was the second one for?
assault with a deadly weapon. A voluntary manslaughter and assault with a deadly weapon. The GBI, hate crime, and use of a weapon during a felony were all enhancements.
What did they consider was a weapon?
Boots.
This is a lot, dude. It's
Yeah.
a lot, man.
Yeah.
And
it
this is a
was.
lot for me to just sit here and hear you, dude. Imagine, and I mean, we accept accountability on this show and in reality, but it's just a lot because, like you said, nothing was cut and dry. Nothing was straightforward.
Yeah.
It was all like Mickey Mouse rigged and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Just to get the point across.
What point, though?
Well, the system, the
I
machine.
mean,
The
it's
machine
like-
has to function, man.
Exactly.
So, fuck it, dude. You took the deal.
Took the deal because, like I said, at that time, it didn't matter what was before the L. If you have an L, you will never see the streets again.
That's a fact, dude.
Enough said.
Right. You have 7 in life. You ain't going home.
No. And I mean, I did time with a dude that had 7 to life.
Right.
His name was Joe, and he was rad, and he was a great dude. And he even got to the point where he started to slow down and try to be better for board because he wanted to get out one
Right.
day, And yeah, that dude was rad.
Did he get out?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I don't know, but I'm in Pelican Bay, right? Working in the main kitchen, and I'm a cart wash, right? So I'm just washing the carts. It's a dumb job. I hate it. It's just dumb. So at one point, one of my friends comes over and says, like, "Hey, the guy that was working with old man Joe just went to the hole. It's a prep cook position. You want it?"
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Fuck yeah." So they started talking to the sergeant, the COs and stuff. And so the sergeant pulls me in and says, like, "Hey, I want to talk to you for a sec." He goes, you want that position in there?
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Well, you're going to be in there with Joe, and he's got a knife, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, It's tethered to a table, but you sure?" Now I'm starting to trip. I'm like, "No, I mean, yeah, I'm going in. We're not going to
Right.
not go in."
Right.
But now I'm in my head kind of like, why? What the? So I get in there and Joe's a great dude. And, I remember one time like trying to explain to him like, "Dude, I keep writing my people and trying to explain my life. And I can't. It never comes out right." And he said, "Think about it. Think about trying to explain a circus to someone who had never seen a circus.
Right.
It's flying trapeze, someone with their head in a lion's mouth. Like,
Right.
Unless you've seen it, there's no way you're going to be able to explain it to anyone." I was like, "That's true, And so I noticed that the COs all gave Joe a lot of respect, and weird respect. Like, they would joke with him. So I'd ask him, like, "Well, what's your deal?
Yeah.
Why are you here? What's going on?" The only thing I could ever get out of him was, "Fuck my crimies. They're all idiots. They're all rats, pieces of shit. Fuck those, blah, blah, blah." So I was like, oh, okay, we all feel that way, I guess, but whatever. I transferred from Pelican Bay down to Ironwood. Now, Joe used to tell me all the time, like, look, kid, I got 115s older than you, right? Well, I get down to Ironwood, I turn on PBS, and they're doing a documentary on the SLA, the Siamese Liberation Army. That was Joe. Joe and his buddy went and killed a professor at Berkeley. So his whole crew, the SLA, went and kidnapped Patty Hearst to get Joe out of prison.
Wow.
It didn't work. You know the whole Patty Hearst story.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is that where you started your sentence in Pelican Bay?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Get the gang enhancement drop so it doesn't affect where I go, huh?
2000 was 2000 the big riot in the Bay?
2000, yeah. So when I got there in December of 2001, and I spent the next 2 years on lockdown.
What yard were you on?
A yard.
What is that, level 4, 180?
Yeah.
GP?
Yeah.
Lockdown. Let's take a walk down memory lane, bro. Let's take remember when lockdowns used to be lockdowns, man, because I'll be honest, there is no more lockdowns. I don't care what people try to tell me. There's no more lockdowns. Like the ones that you experienced.
Right.
What was your daily routine like? Like with the cops coming in, self-feeding from the morning?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What was your routine like?
Wake up at 6. They come around, rack the doors. No doors are really getting open. But rack the doors. They come around. They open up the tray slots. Shove your food in. Eat your food. Stick it back in the tray slot. You clean your house. You work out. You read. You draw. You write. You watch TV. I didn't even have a TV for like the first year.
Did you have a celly?
Yeah. My celly ended up getting me a TV because I don't watch TV. I don't like TV. I don't like movies. I don't like watching stuff. It's annoying. So, but he was like, look, you're doing 20 years, dude. You need a freaking TV.
Right.
So he ended up getting me a TV from someone that paroled. They just left it to me. But yeah, you don't. What's your program? Nothing. You're in a cell. So you get, side yard every 10 days.
What is that?
A little concrete yard on the side. The
Part of this lockdown was?
Well, yeah. So this was a big lockdown. I mean, the whole facility was on lockdown.
100%.
Right? So I'm on A yard. 1 and 2 are ADSEG. 3 is Fish Row and GP. And then 3, 4, 5, and 6 lockdown. 7 and 8 are the programmer buildings because they're running the kitchen and so on and so forth. The PIA's up there. They got the eyeglass and the shoe PIA. So, that's going on. But we're just on lockdown.
What did your medical appointments look like? Would they come and escort you, strip you out?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you got to strip out, do the whole naked hokey pokey in your cell, give them all your clothes, they'll hand them back, you put them back on, handcuffed, escorted to medical.
In restraints.
Yeah. There'd be times where, we'd go to showers like that, depending upon, just to get to the shower, you've got to, get cuffed up, get taken, get locked in the shower, get uncuffed.
Were you bird bathing in the cell?
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to wait till you guys decide to get to me, and just sit here stinky and sweaty.
Right. Now the workouts in the cell, man. You're a big dude. We're in a society now, man, where people have a lot of money and have access to any gym they want, right? But yet they refuse to go to a gym and or work out. What type of exercises were you doing?
Man, you hang off the end of the bed, bring your legs up, do pull-ups off the end of the bed. You got back arms off the desk, push-ups, water bags, Depending on your cellie could be a part of the whole program. You know, get on my back. I'm doing push-ups. Like whatever. But yeah, just everything in the cell. And then you try to switch it up. You gotta. Okay, I'm gonna, 6 count burpees and 8 count burpees. And I'm gonna do Navy SEALs, and then I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that. Just trying to keep it interesting.
Did you feel that it was effective to maintain physical fitness?
Yeah.
At that time?
Yeah.
Were you training for war?
No.
No?
No. Training to keep my head straight.
Okay, and I say that because I've been observed lockdowns where they were definitely training for war.
I mean,
Different races in the cell, and you can tell it was on and cracking.
I remember in the county there used to be this dude. We used to call him High Power because he was one of those dudes that he was a JCat, and he'd get all lubed up and ready for war and blah 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 and like that. I've been to war in there.
You had?
No, in there. So prison wise, like not war like you've been in.
No. In prison.
Right? But in prison, yeah, riots, shit like that, yeah. And I don't care. None of that stuff you're doing is going to do anything. Like the whole, when it pops, it's going to pop.
When you were there, did it get off when you were in Pelican Bay?
No.
Where were you involved in these riots?
Ironwood.
What year-ish was this?
2005.
Was it other race involved?
Yeah.
Who was it?
Southsiders.
What were the numbers like?
60 to 200 and something.
Was it planned or spontaneous?
Spontaneous. Or was it planned? It was. So we're 2005.
Right.
They outlawed tobacco July 1st, 2005. So June 14th, 15th, I stopped smoking because I want my head straight before they do this.
Right.
July 15th, 2005, just one of those things to where it was a dope debt. It got paid, but it wasn't paid the way he wanted it paid, and so they got off. Well, at first it's like, who's so-and-so beaten up? Because they're both white, right? But then all of a sudden they flip over, and you see this tattoo across the back of this dude's head. That ain't a white boy. And as we realize, everyone realizes, and the whole yard just starts moving.
Do you recall where you were on the yard?
Oh yeah, I was right there next to the chow hall.
And where did this kick off? This little tussling you saw.
So in front of 5, so in front of ADSEG, right? It jumped off. That's where the 2 dudes were fighting. And then from the
This A yard?
Yeah.
Okay.
So from the basketball court, you see everything start to. All the white boys were, get against the wall, right? But me, I'm like, I go out into the weight pile because there's whites that are left out there that are getting jumped on. So I go out there. It's like midget tossing, right? I'm just tossing dudes left and right, telling dudes get back to the wall. I'm hearing a lot of yelling, but I haven't heard the clack yet, right? So we're still going, and I'm hearing the yelling, but I can't. It's not anything to do with me, but I see this wave come out of nowhere, so I'm just going to town. Eventually, they got me on the ground. And, I sat there, covered up, covered my face, kind of balled up a little bit, let them do their thing, but they kept going. And I got pissed and grabbed one, dragged him to the ground, and just started pummeling his face through the ground. Well, the other ones ran off. I let this guy go. He takes off. I get up, realize everyone's down, but there's like a CO that's like right next to me by the name of Lopez. So, riot ends. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, it's the yard, then it's 1 block, and then it's the gym, and then it's the library. Now it's 4 block, and ding. So, yeah. But the funny thing is, we finally get to the hole. When we get to the hole, AdSeg's on our yard. This is a yard, Ironwood, so we've got the AdSeg. So we're in our cell, and the COs keep stopping by. And they're like, "Hey, O'Kane, you good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they would push. Look at my cell. He's like, "What was that about? That was weird." He's like, "Yeah." So then shift change happens. And the 2 COs from my building come over.
Interesting.
And they're like, "You good?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "All right, well, let us know if you need anything." Yeah, well, okay. Sure.
Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Right.
So I jump down, I get down to the door, and I realize, like, they're not stopping by anyone else's cell. Like, what the fuck? So the next day, I go before the captain, right? So they come, they escort me, sit me down. And Captain Howell, I'll never forget that dude. Captain Howell says, "How many Hispanics were you fighting yesterday?" I said, "None." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "My officers counted 16. That wasn't me." He goes, "Yeah." So he looks at the officer and he goes, "What do you think?" And the CO looks at me and he goes, "Oh, he's a big old boy. I'd get my homeboys." All right. He goes, "Turns out that yelling that I heard, that was Officer Lopez running out onto the yard when they were trying to shoot someone. Officer Lopez messed up their shot. So they're yelling at Lopez, 'Get off the yard.'"
Right.
Lopez turns around, sees this wave of Hispanics coming at him, and then out of nowhere, here comes inmate O'Kane. Pop, 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 pop. So the captain told me, he goes, "You saved my officer." He goes, "I think you're right. You weren't fighting anyone yesterday."
Damn.
Let him go.
So RVR 115 got dismissed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Dude, that's a trip, man. You know what's crazy as you're telling me this story, I'm like reflecting like to the present time. You know that big melee that you just described? You know that now if you're an inmate, you won't go to the hole. You just go back to the pad. That's where we're at now in CDCR 2025. What's your take on that? Do you believe people should go to AdSeg after a big giant riot like that?
That riot? No.
Why?
It was just one of those things. It was one of those things to where
No, when the cops are using force and now you got to write reports and it's an incident packet.
I know, but that's all CDCR policy right there. Because force was used, or because we used OC spray, because this was done, now we have to do this, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But I mean, here's the thing, though, is that like in that situation, you got 2 groups, the whites and the Southerners.
Right.
For the most part, they get along.
Correct.
Dude was paid. Just didn't like what he got paid. So he, took off on the white boy.
Okay.
Now, at the end of the day, the whole thing got squashed. It was what it was.
Right. Did you guys ever run it back? Did the yard ever run it back?
No, because it was dumb. It was dumb. Dude got paid. Dude didn't like it. Blah, blah, blah. So, at the end of the day, when you're dealing with 500 men's lives and their dates,
Right.
what is more important? That $50 or everyone going home?
Did you go back to the same yard, or they kick you out another yard?
Went to the same yard. As soon as they kicked me out, well, they at first they kicked me out into a white Southsider cell.
Into a white Southsider cell.
Right. So as I walk into the building, that dude was like, "Oh, no." So then they had to send me back to the hole.
Damn.
Yep. Back to the hole.
Well, that doesn't make sense. We'd have to do a whole new ASU placement notice to put you back in the hole. I mean, what? I guess no available housing.
There's no available housing. There's,
Yeah.
which didn't really make sense because there's 60 of us in the hole right now. It's gotta be, CDC and their dumbass.
Yeah, bro. No, I hear you.
But yeah, so they ended up sending me back to the hole. I did a couple more days in the hole, and as soon as I was released, I was walking to building 3. And my name's already over the loudspeaker, inmate O'Kane, report to program office, blah, blah, blah. So as I'm heading over, Lopez is already walking across the yard. And he's like, "Where do you want to work, dude?"
Damn, dude. Let me ask you this, though, because I know how prison works.
Mm-hmm.
Were you getting any backlash from your people from the narrative that was being spun that you helped out a cop?
Uh-uh.
Were they aware that narrative was being spun?
I don't think so.
No? It was just like the cops are just like, "Hey, dude, good looking out."
I mean, they must have known on some level, because how the hell am I just going to get out of the hole? Like,
Correct.
That would look janky.
Right.
But, yeah, they knew. But, I mean, here's the thing. I wasn't saving the cop. That wasn't the whole get down. I just saw a bunch of dudes, and I wasn't going to be the one. So, it is what it is. But, yeah, and Lopez was super cool. He was like, which was good because, like I said, I was in that vocation that was going nowhere.
Okay.
And so now I told him main kitchen, and he put me in the main kitchen.
Was there audio video surveillance? Was there video footage of the riot?
Fuck no.
No.
No. This is back in 2005.
Okay.
Y'all were fighting that for a long time.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to get your naps in?
100%. Naps are important.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to be aware, and you got to be well rested to fight crime.
Yeah. Sometimes we need the phone, though, right? And you're in the tower in control of the phone.
True.
And we're trying to wake you up.
Yeah, I mean, you could always flip the switch and leave them on.
Yeah.
So, fuck, dude, 2000 to 2017. This was in 05.
This was 05.
Did you stay at Ironwood, or did you go somewhere else?
Oh, I stayed in I stayed in Ironwood for another year or so, and then ended up getting sent out of state.
Oh, shit, I forgot about the out-of-state stores. You were level 3.
Yep.
The way they pitched the idea to you, did the captain come up to you, an AW, or was there a committee telling you?
There was a committee. It was a weird committee. We were on lockdown. There was a staff assault, so they were, being dicks to us. And so this committee was actually on a different yard. You had to go to B yard to go to this committee, and I was like, this is weird. But yeah, we ended up going over there, and then next thing you know, we're on a bus going to Wasco. Spent a week in Wasco, and then we're getting taken out to the airport.
Airport?
Straight Con Air.
No way, dude.
Way, dude.
Who was there? State corrections officer? Did you see any type of federal law enforcement or county, local?
I mean, there was some county out there, dudes with the shotguns on the tarmac, and we're all getting, escorted onto the plane. And
were you shackled like this, and in the waist and in the feet?
Yeah, so there was 3 of us shackled together, and
what kind of plane was it?
I don't know.
Was it like
I was so
chairs look like
stressed
this?
out. I was so
Okay.
stressed out at this point, because I'm getting onto a plane. I haven't been on a plane in a while. I've been on many planes. It doesn't worry me, but the guy next to me has never been on a plane, has never been outside the state, has never traveled. and is tripping the fuck out. And so listening to him the whole time.
So you land where? What state?
Tennessee.
Tennessee. You get bused, vanned, carred to a prison?
Yep.
What type of prison? When you get to gather the information, what
It's
type
a
of prison?
prison facility, let's say. It's just a big hallway. And I don't know, you know, we're similar in age, but I don't know if you remember that show, Get Smart.
No. I mean, I remember, I don't think I ever watched it, but I know the
Okay, well,
show.
they got all these crash gates that open. That's what this place is like. It's just a long L-shaped corridor with crash gates.
Cells?
No. Yeah, cells. So you've got the pods that are on, you know, all the way down. You've got Vermont, California, and Tennessee. There were, this was a federal detention facility. So everyone there was feds. The local people were all fighting federal cases.
Did they mix you with those individuals?
Fuck no.
No.
To a certain degree. So like in the kitchen,
Right.
in jobs, they would. But at first we were programming with Vermont, but then they squashed that. We don't play well with others.
Was there an incident or numerous incidents?
Numerous incidents. So they hang out with their chumos and rapists and stuff. And we're not cool with that. So we started smashing them. And
Oh, fuck, dude. Do you ever watch other states' prison, like, systems? And you're right. Sometimes they allow them to be there. But another weird thing is you'll watch people give a testimony of when they were in prison. They're like, yeah, I found out this guy was a chomo, and I just started taxing him for, like, canteen. It's
Right.
like, just taxed them, huh? Just taxed them.
yeah.
Because, you know, as what in California, they're going to hurt the motherfucker.
Oh, they're going to kill him.
Correct. Do you find that to be odd that they're able to just coincide with those dudes?
Well, yeah. I mean,
Is that what was stemming this?
you know, look, and that's the thing about prisons. Like, a lot of us are there for dumb stuff. You know, I beat someone to death. You got people robbing and stealing. But, you know, when it comes to stuff like that, you know, we've all got moms.
Zero tolerance.
Yeah.
Zero tolerance.
Uh-uh.
Wow. Very interesting. Now, these guards, whatever they were, what were these, like, security guards, barely?
Yeah, basically, like, you know, got their guard card and, like, showed up to work. Like, it was very different. It's very different. This I don't know how many people feel the same, but like every once in a while, I've seen those green suits. Real COs? You know, California would come out to do inspections or check things out or whatever, and just to see normal COs, it's relatively nice.
Would it give you a sense of security?
Oh yeah,
Knowing, like, hey, if they are here, they will save us, per se, you know what I mean? In the violent situation. They're good at quelling violence.
Oklahoma, I think 2011, 5.5 hour riot.
See what I mean?
The CO that worked our building sprayed until he couldn't spray anymore, started using his spray to hit people on the head, and then finally gave up and left. At which point, like, it was just mayhem in the pod for hours. You know, you've got one group in the day room. They go down, they take a break, they're getting water. A couple of them are doing dips, getting ready. You've got the other group, they've got the top tier. So they've got, you know, baby oil on the tier, and you know, they're up there, you know, cleaning their wounds and doing whatever. And it was crazy. And then, you know, like, from our pod, there were no whites involved, right?
In which one? The Oklahoma?
Yeah, when this riot jumped off, they told us it was an emergency count, which is pretty normal for this place. emergency count, lock it down, blah, blah, blah. We'll let you guys out in a minute. Da, da, da. I had just gotten my hair cut, just taken a shower, got into the cell, closed the cell. I'm putting the Murrays in my hair, and I'm looking, and everyone's running all over the place. And I'm like, that's weird. So I go to the door, and all of a sudden, this dude shows up who's got the billing for the essays, and he's like, "Hey, pop!" He's all fucked up, dude. And he throws his phone under the door. He's like, "Hey,
Under your door?
yeah, hold on to this." And I look, and it's just mayhem out there.
Who are they getting off with?
The blacks and the essays.
Damn, dude.
So, but just like in most pens, I'm a white boy. I work in the kitchen. So at 10 o'clock at night, when we would do our kitchen run, I'm all dressed, waiting to go. They come by, they just keep on walking. I was like, oh, fuck. So the next time they come by for count, I'm like, hey, what's up with the workers? And he looks at me and he goes, oh, you guys ain't coming off anytime soon. So fast forward 2.5 months later, and finally get back into the kitchen. There is still blood splatters.
No fucking way.
All over the ceiling. Oh, yeah. The whole place. For like weeks, all we got were the peanut butter packets and boiled eggs.
Do you think the cops were fucking putting them together?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because they couldn't use the kitchen. The kitchen was a crime scene. There was blood everywhere. The whole riot jumped off in the chow hall.
Damn, dude. That's bad.
So
that's
then,
not good.
Oh, yeah. And it was everyone versus the blacks.
You know if anybody died in that one?
Supposedly, yes. There's a younger black dude that got a microwave to his head over and over. And they would wake him up. And when he started to act like he was coming to, they'd...
Oh, damn, dude. Do you believe that the Oklahoma guards were not prepared for that?
I know they weren't. Yeah, they didn't know what to do. They were shell shocked after that. It was just like in Tennessee. I mean, we had a riot in Tennessee. And that was hilarious because the staff came in like they were about something. And when it jumped, that same staff was about running out the front door. They weren't going to do nothing.
Would you agree that reasonable force from a correctional officer's perspective is necessary to keep control and quell violence in a California state prison?
In the system that we're in.
You would agree? Because somewhere along the line, as a country, even the police, we've gone away from that through public outcry, protests, frivolous allegations, bad cops fucking up, excessive use of force. So, yeah.
You'll understand this. There's times where violence is the only thing that keeps a stupid motherfucker from doing stupid stuff.
Bro, that's my mantra.
That's
my mantra.
I'm not a huge fan of violence. But at the end of the day, when you can't act right and you're not smart enough to do the correct thing, then maybe a piece needs to get run up in you and you'll rethink it.
Ooh, let's talk about that, man. I was in Centinela State Prison, level 4 Charlie Yard, GP killers. There was a white guy that hit the yard. Overweight, long hair, scraggly looking, probably homeless type-ish. 2009. The whites there gave him the opportunity to clean up his act. He failed to listen to the first advice, and on the second time, they hit him right here in the throat. Does that surprise you?
Yeah.
It does surprise you?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, I mean, what do you mean he was so he's unkept? So
that's the structure that those whites on that yard had, saying, hey, you will cut your hair and you will work out. And he refused to do so. So they hit him.
2009?
Yes. So
the grooming standards were already gone by then. It had to have been something else.
That's just what we gathered.
Well, then there it is.
Had it been something else?
Had to have been something else. You're not going to get whacked in the neck for not cutting your hair, dude. That's not happening.
That's not happening? Seemed like a great story. I appreciated it. I actually saw him. He was on the fucking ground gargling in a puddle of his fucking blood.
Yeah. And it's funny because, like, we see that all the time, right?
Yes.
And, like, at what point do you start to question yourself when you're watching someone getting butchered and your only thought is, where am I going to sit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
Because we would see that all the time. You're on a yard. You know shit's going down. You just don't know when. And then when it does, and you see 3 dudes poking this dude to death, all you're thinking is, what's the radius and where can I sit?
Yeah.
That,
Yeah, I used to watch you guys like look around real quick,
Exactly.
go to a fucking the shade.
Yeah,
little
trying to figure
patch of
out,
grass.
like, where's the radius?
The
I need to
curb.
get outside the radius so I'm not a part of this.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, you see it all the time, like looking like, fuck, it's kind of a little skedaddle over there.
but that wears on you because you're watching this dude bleed out,
Yes.
but you've got a good spot to sit.
When did this start to affect you where you started to notice, hey, man, prison ain't it?
Oh, day one.
Day one?
Day one. I was never one of those dudes that are like, fuck yeah, I'm in prison. I'm so stoked.
There are those individuals.
They're all over the place. They love that place. And I would love to see prison reform. I would love to see California switched up.
Riddle me this. You seem like a very independent man.
Right.
How did you not run into any problems being that independent in a California prison system?
Luck.
Huh?
Luck.
Luck?
Luck.
Because you got to follow the cause.
Well, I mean, look, when a riot jumps off, I'm not going to stand against the wall and be like, well, I'm not a part of this.
Correct. I mean, you were there when you had to be.
Right. You got to do what you got to do. But I'm not there to raise my hand to say, anything you don't want to do, I'll do.
Okay.
Because that's what it is.
That's interesting because a lot of people have the question of, hey, will I survive in a California prison? Can I do my own thing in a California prison? But it seemed like you knew how to navigate with your freaking personality, dude.
It's just luck. The way I am,
Did people feel like they can count on you? Your fellow inmates?
Yeah.
I think your size has a lot to do with it, man.
Well, I mean, and that's part of it. Hit a yard, be jogging the track, and you're, damn, look at the size of that white boy. Yeah. Luck.
Other than the times that you mentioned in ADSIG, did you ever make any other trips to ADSIG?
Mm-mm.
No?
No. From Pelican Bay. So I'm in reception, Delano. I just got 20 years. I'm mad. I'm pissed. They send me a little form to fill out.
Okay.
Of what was your job when you were on the street, and what was your family life like, and like all these questions. Well, I just turned 26 and I'm looking at 20 years. So here's my parents' address. This is where you send the body. Fuck you with the rest.
Next of kin.
Yeah. Like, fuck you.
Emergency contact.
Right? Like that's all I'm giving you.
Right.
That Christian essay in the county, he told me, he goes, when you get a chance, read the Title 15, know the Title 15. That's how you're going to keep yourself from getting fucked.
Mm-hmm.
Blah, blah, blah. So I get to Pelican Bay. I end up in a cell by myself because they dick my cellie over and end up transferring him back to Chino after they just dropped him off in Pelican Bay. So I'm up there by myself. And I'm just reading till it doesn't make sense. And I'm working out till I can't work out. And then I read till it doesn't make sense. Turns out all those questions mattered. All those questions were points. I just fucked myself. I had a job on the streets. I was doing good. I was doing all this stuff.
Oh, they were fucking damn.
So because I didn't answer any of these and they didn't explain any of this to me,
Right.
I bumped my points up and ended up in Pelican Bay.
Damn.
So that first year, I'm getting notes from, my school showing I've got my GED.
Okay.
I'm getting notes from my boss saying
Makes
that,
sense.
I worked for him for blah, 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 all this stuff. Got my points down. I waited for that transfer for a year.
Damn.
To leave Pelican Bay. Now think about it. I'm level 3, waiting to leave, just waiting for this place to jump off.
Yeah.
Right? It's been on lockdown for years.
Mm-hmm.
Just coming off lockdown, and I'm just waiting for a transfer. So I'm stressed the fuck out. From where I'm at in 8 block, I can see the shoe. I can see the level 1, and I can see the traffic signal.
From where? From the back of your window?
Yeah.
What is there, like a regular window in the back of a cell?
Just the slit.
And you're able to see all this stuff?
The shoe is right there.
Okay.
The level 1's just off in the distance, and on the other side of the shoe, yeah, you can see the light, and it'll only change at shift change.
Okay.
But like that's huge right there.
Absolutely.
Like think about it. It's the end of the road.
Yes.
This is the most comfortable spot to be. And then that light, that's the goal.
It's freedom.
I mean, that was something that, I sat there and thought about and knew.
All the fucking forks in the road.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of your experience within the California Department of Corrections, if CDCR was a private company, would it have gone bankrupt already?
Yeah.
Did you see a lot of issues within the system?
Yeah. We were talking earlier about, short of staff.
Right.
That's a game.
It's a game?
It's a game, and it is. CCPOA, biggest union in all of California, right?
That's a scam.
Oh, I know. And that's what I'm saying. Is like this is all a scam.
The short staffing, though, I really want to make it clear, though, that short staffing is really a thing. Let me give you an example, and then maybe we can dissect it from there.
Right.
Donovan Prison has, 900 cops, 900 correctional officers. The COVID era, 2020, fucking more than half either had COVID, said they had COVID, were off the books. Right? That's first, second, third watch.
Right.
The other portion was the warden was a fucking dictator from hell, and the chief deputy warden was a fucking witch from hell. No officers wanted to show up to work because this was my theory. I'd rather call in sick and go to the San Diego Zoo than come here and get under a fucking false investigation to be part of their agenda.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you're seeing numbers on paper, but the reality of it is motherfuckers don't want to show up to work. How do you view it? Which affects the inmates, and then again, no program.
Well, yeah, no program. So when you're short of staff, you're also in a vulnerable situation. That vulnerable situation, what leads to more pay?
No, dude. I can agree. I can 100% on my daughter say that is a myth. Okay. There is no hazard pay in the CDCR. There is not. Not for riots, not for lockdowns. I've been in riots. I've been in lockdowns. I never got an extra bump up or nothing on the pay stub. And not for short staff. Absolutely not.
It's just, you mentioned a scenario where we're dealing with COVID. I paroled in 2017, well before COVID, and this was a regular run-of-the-mill thing, to where it was almost like the rolling blackouts.
Oh, I remember those.
It would be like these rolling blackouts. So like basically like, oh, we're short of staff.
Correct.
Or da-da-da-da.
Correct.
That has nothing to do with COVID. And that is a scenario to where now the prison's not being operated fully. I don't.
I hear what you're saying now. I see it. Yeah. It's almost, I hear what you're saying. And especially with the rolling blackouts.
I mean, I've managed places before, so I
Right.
have staff that I have to put in place and use and da.
But let's keep it real. The short staff issue, whether manufactured or not, is not the sole reason CDCR is a complete, utter failure.
No, of course not. It's part of it. But
Would you say optics, the propaganda, what the higher ups put out,
the culture is what it comes down to, and it's on both sides.
100%.
Okay, don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm in here like.
How would you define the culture? Realistically, you were there.
And the culture, I mean, it affects you when people won't touch you, when they put gloves on before they touch you, they treat you like you're a fucking piece of shit. Won't give you a mirror, and the mirror they do give you, you can't really see yourself in. It's wearing away your identity. It's taking away your identity. It's trying to create this
dehumanization process. I will say this. With the gloves, we do take a bloodborne pathogen class, and a lot of inmates have communicable diseases.
I was in there. I get it.
Right.
I understand. And there's motherfuckers I wouldn't touch either. But what I'm saying, though, is that this is a part of this whole thing to where, like, for a lot, there are COs that look at you like you're a piece of shit. You are an animal. You have no right to talk to me. And I don't respect anything you say, think, or feel. Right? And those are the guys that usually are underneath a table in the chow hall getting stomped out. It's difficult because, there is very much a us v them attitude. And I'm not saying we all need to hold hands and sing Kumbaya, but understand that we're all people, and that we're all men in this situation. Now, y'all can act like you're better, right? Because you go home at night. But at the end of the day, you've done similar shit to me. You just never got caught, right? But here's the other thing. A lot of dudes in prison never had a plan. They didn't have a plan for life, right? So what does the state do? Lock them in a concrete box.
Right.
Well, then you got these other dudes that aren't fucking up, but they don't have a plan either. Well, what are we going to do? Let's put those guys in charge of the guys in the box.
Right.
So we can keep all of our guys that have no plans together. And then you and I just fight the whole time.
Yeah.
About, I don't like you and you don't like me and blah, blah, blah. But the whole time, Jackwad's got us sitting here together, spending our time together.
Absolutely.
I'm
glad you said it. I'm glad you said it, and I'm glad you said the way you said it and the way you said it, because I've left the department almost 2.5 years ago, and let's just break it down to basic human characteristics and character defects. Ego. Ego. There is a lot of ego in prison.
So much.
Too much, right? Abuse of power. And I'm not saying this in the view. I'm saying this is, dude, green is cutthroat. Green is cutthroat with their own too, man. I've had my own fucking friends sell me out, rat me out, throw me under the fucking bus. It is utterly disgusting. It is a toxic fucking environment, bro, from hell.
Right.
From hell.
On both ends.
So what would be a solution? Because I know you mentioned earlier that you and I, with both of our experiences, but different backgrounds, could come up with a solution, and I wholeheartedly agree.
You harp on the whole California, program.
Yeah.
Right. Now that's based on the Norwegian.
Correct.
one of the things is that when you don't understand what the problem is, your solution to said problem is rarely on point.
Facts.
Right? So when you don't understand the aspects of how the Norwegian process, program, whatever, would look like, right? And you implement it in a culture that is the CDCR of maybe not right now, but before, right? They're incompatible.
Correct.
You would have to start an entirely new prison system. And then all the 18-year-olds and all the kids that are getting, they would have to, and you would have to allow CDCR to just basically dwindle out through attrition.
Right.
Right. But man.
But you mentioned one thing right now, which you said you can't come up with a proper solution if you can't identify the proper problem.
Mm-hmm.
But another thing is, what about the word intent? The intention of rolling out the California model based on the Norwegian model. Was the intent to actually rehabilitate these inmates, or was the intent to put money into the pocket of Bree Williams, the CEO of Amend, and Governor Newsom?
Well, let's really think about this. This was started in 2005. This was started because of the three judge panel. Okay, that's why I ended up out of state, is because they've got 20,000 dudes in 10,000 cells.
Right,
Overcrowded.
big time.
So bad.
Bunk beds in the fucking day rooms.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that
Gyms.
was gnarly. The gyms were insane. And then, even towards the end, it's like, I was a program clerk. So I got all the roles. I know who's where. And I'm in Chuckawalla. C and D yard are good. A and B are no good. C and D, I've got a bunk. I ain't got a bunkie. But over there, everyone's like, 3 bunks high,
Right.
across the top tier, down the day room. It's insane. But I mean, that's where it all comes from. And why do you have 20,000 dudes? And I'm using incorrect numbers. I'm just using for ease. But why do you have 20,000 dudes in 10,000 cells when these cells are single man cells?
Would you agree when I say the department overcorrected itself? And so did the society with the 3-strike law.
You're touching on that 3-strike, because that's one of those things that even the father of that little girl who pushed for the 3 strikes, it was a huge proponent on getting this squashed, because that's not what this was intended for. And we talk about societal shifts.
Absolutely.
And people getting their emotions wrapped up in a certain thing, and then, lock them all up.
Right.
Okay. But now what? And then you end up with all these dudes locked up with what kind of programs? No kind of programs. I don't give a damn what they say. I was there. I saw the programs. I know what they're about. Come on, man. And half the time they're run by inmates.
You mentioned culture, and you mentioned problems. I am a firm believer that change starts at the top, from my experience in the military. So if you have the CDCR secretary that is incompetent, do you believe that attributes to the rest of the department's incompetence?
Who's telling them the truth?
Who's telling who the truth?
The big dog, the guy on top.
He takes his orders from the governor, whoever it is at the time.
No, I know, but where the rubber meets the road. Who's explaining that to him?
It's one of those yes men type of deals.
Exactly.
You surround yourself with a bunch of fucking yes men, they're never going to tell you the truth.
Exactly. So then if you've got a bunch of dudes that are telling you a bunch of bullshit, how are you going to use any of that?
But he's not naive. He's well aware of me 2.5 years later. So he knows the truth. He now is just in a position to just do his own thing.
No, I think now he's in a position where it's a pride issue.
Correct.
and he's just going to do what he's going to do because blah, 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 blah. But I mean, if we were to think about it and not be on our pride and think about the actual situation, the actual fucking problem, this, dude, okay? What's going on in the yard? Does the captain know exactly what's going on in the yard?
No.
Because the lieutenant's not telling him
everything.
Correct. The lieutenant's holding on to some of that stuff.
Absolutely, 100%.
The sergeant's not even telling the lieutenant everything.
Facts.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. When the higher up has no clue what's actually happening on the yard.
Part of it is their problem as well, though. If a CO will attempt to tell the captain something, this captain at times will look at him like, "Get out of my face, you peon."
Exactly.
Who are you to tell me what to do? I'm a captain, don't you understand?
Pride.
With only 9 years in the department.
Pride.
It's more of ego.
Yeah.
It's all ego.
And I mean, the thing is, that's what it comes down to, though, is culture.
We got to eradicate the egotistical maniacs from the California Department of Corrections.
I remember 9th grade English, I got yelled at because I wasn't doing what the class was doing, right? I'm sitting in the back of the class reading Aldous Huxley, Brave New World. And, teacher flips out on me and is like, most of the kids because this was the third time I had taken 9th grade English.
Okay.
So she's like, most of the kids in here don't even understand this. And you're back here reading stuff that like, blah, blah, blah. Like, but look, we get into the whole like social engineering. I know that that's a big, oh no, like that's scary, like we're Americans and blah, blah, blah. But like, dude, a CO should have anyone in charge of another person's life, especially in those dangerous situations, should have some sort of profile done. Okay, if they are someone that is very egocentric and can be manipulated emotionally and so on and so forth, that person should not be a CO.
Here's the kicker, though. One problem you would run into is running profiles on every CO and phasing them out would be, you already complained about lack of staffing, would be hiring issues. And we look at problems and we're like, fuck, man, if they were to run profiles on everybody, would you even be able to fill the fucking job?
That's true. But if we were taking care of the population the way that we should and possibly not end up with so many people in prison.
Facts.
Then we're not going to need those COs.
Facts.
Okay. That's what it comes down to. And that's where the Norwegian, program really comes in. And the idea of like, look,
yeah,
I understand I made a mistake. I understand that I messed up, but I'm not without value.
Basically, bro, in a nutshell, all we have to do is tell our people at the bottom, stop fucking fighting each other because the government is capitalizing on you. Period. That fucking easy. But will they stop fighting each other? Probably not, because you know how it goes, society.
Everyone's got their reason,
right,
for being mad.
So, as we wind this down, what are you doing now? Because you mentioned you're on social media.
Yeah. One of the things that I'm trying to do right now is I taught spirituality.
Good.
For over a decade while I was down. And when I got out, I wanted nothing to do with prison. Absolutely nothing to do with prison. And I did myself a disservice because I walked away from my program, And the last, 7 years haven't been amazing. I've been free and I've been, doing things, but they haven't been amazing, and getting back into my, prison program, my ways of thinking, doing stuff. So I had a little notebook that I'd like write notes in of all the stuff I wanted to do when I got out. I'm starting that list.
Does service work? It sounds like you're talking about service work and helping others and being selfless.
Yeah. When I got out, I used to Over here in Oceanside. It's Last Chance at Life.
Yeah.
So it's a rescue. And so I started going there and walking dogs. You know, just one of those things.
Yeah.
Had to stop. Because, you know, I'm going in and these dogs are in their outside kennels. And so I'd go in, take this dog out for a walk, and then bring them to their new kennel, you know, their nighttime kennel. So, you know, I'd hook up their nighttime kennel and I'd make sure I gave them a couple extra blankets and, you know.
Yeah.
The extra toilet paper if they needed it, right?
Right.
And then I'd lock them up. And then, you know, man, it got to me. It got to me. Like the idea of having this dog and the feelings that I'm getting from these dogs. Like you can feel it. Yeah. Right? It's too close to home.
I hear you, dude.
You know? So I ended up I had to quit that. I had to stop. It was a lot. But yeah. You know, getting into the social media, trying to get my message out there.
What's your handles that people could reach out to you if they have to?
Sigrafn. SIGHRAFN.
Cool. We'll link it on the bottom.
Yeah. It means victory raven. So, yeah, just doing that. I work for a junk company. Junk removal. Fun. Just throwing heavy shit.
It's on your own and shit.
Yeah, no, I mean, I work for a company, but...
Right, meaning that you don't have to work with other people that will fucking agitate you.
Exactly. And basically, just me and a buddy out in the field, eating couches off of balconies.
Can't beat it, dude.
Fun.
Well, dude, I want to thank you for coming all the way down here, man, sharing your story, dude. That shit was fucking nuts, bro.
Yes, sir. Well, you know, I mean, that's the thing, is getting the story out there, getting my story out there, getting your story out there. You know, when it comes to the California CDCR, you know, getting our stories out there and getting people like us to work together to take that stuff down. I mean, it can all be changed. It's just set up wrong.
Correct. It's being operated wrong and set up wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, dude, thank you for coming out here, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
There you guys have it, folks. Another banger. So much that we unpacked on today's episode. If you like what you saw, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Love you. Keep pushing forward.
Unhinged mind, Hector's legend engraved. Living life raw, never been tamed. From the hood to the pen, truth and tales pen. Hector Bravo unhinged, story never ends.